do 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 do.
Oh my god, no.
Do 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 do. Free roam. Hi.
We're gonna get claimed for that.
It was
I
too
think.
perfectly in sync. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
too good. It's too good. How are you doing, my friend? How you been?
I'm doing well. I'm a little tired. I woke up at 5:30 today. I'm a crazy person.
Oh,
So
imagine?
and then something stupid happened. So I woke up early to like a friend of mine was like, "Yo, go! We have this like 6 a.m. club where we go run and we do interval. So yeah, you run for like a kilometer and then you wait a bit and you run real fast. And I did it for 5 kilometers at like 6:15 because it's like very hot now here in the Netherlands. So if you want to run, you want to do it early. 6 is a bit too crazy though. So then I got home and then I was like, oh, I still got some time because this Switch 2 event is happening. So Nintendo, yeah, they had like their big preview thing for press and stuff to like around the reveal. And some other people, like they're throwing a different event as well. So I went there. I was like, okay, I'm ready. Let's see what this is all about. And then I was in the train. I was like looking at the email. Damn, it's next week. So I went there. I was like, where is this shuttle bus? What is happening? And yeah, so because I probably woke too early, I was like still in zombie mode. So yeah.
That's well.
That yeah. Next
Good
week
for
I
you.
will go. I can then tell everyone about my experience with the Switch 2. That, by the way, got like, I mean, the Xbox is now $600, so Switch 2 got a better deal this week.
Now it's a budget item. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
It's
that's
crazy.
right.
Yeah, well, that's
How have you
good for
been?
you. I've been good. I've been good. Very busy. Yeah, kind of a crazy week. But it's funny, guys, because we were initially going to do the podcast on Wednesday, and I texted Jor, and I was just like, maybe we just push it to Friday so we have more to talk about, because something will probably happen over Thursday, Friday that is more interesting.
I
to
got
talk
my
about.
Rockstar contact reaching out, and he's like, do the podcast on Friday.
Yeah, just take your time. And yeah, a lot has happened just the last 2 days. It's been a little crazy, but we're gonna talk about it. We're gonna get through it. It's gonna be a good time. But yeah, I've been good. I also had some high intensity interval training this morning.
Wow.
Also did that.
Nice.
It's good. It works way better for me. Like, people have different types of like muscle fibers. Some people have the like whatever slow oxidative fibers. It's been a long time since I took biology, but as you can tell, I'm probably mispronouncing everything. But some people have like the slower acting muscle fibers that are really good for like endurance, but they can't generate like a lot of power really quickly. So they're not great like lifters or boxers, but they're really good swimmers or like cross country runners. And then you like other people have like fast glycolytic muscle fibers, and they're really good at explosive movements and doing things really powerfully very quickly. I very much am not an endurance person. Like I am not at all. I can lift heavy, I can punch hard, I can do sprints really well, I can row like crazy for a couple minutes, but if you're asking me to run like 5 miles or something nonstop, I will die. I will die. I just have never been that way. But HIIT training is kind of like the cheat code for it, because you do the sprint and then you get like a minute or two of rest, and then you do another sprint and then a minute or two. So you end up running like the same distance as the guy that was going slow and steady wins the race. You're just going in spurts, but that works way, way better for me personally. So
Yeah. And if
love
you
it.
run for longer, at one point, you don't really improve your speed a lot. So if you do the interval, you can, you run way faster. So you kind of get used to it again and use it during the endurance training too, if you want to combine it. So yeah, that's pretty nice too. But awesome, man. And well, I'm pretty. Maybe it's kind of weird to say, but I had some good tweets today.
You did. We referenced them on stream because
Oh, nice.
you were very quick on it, very fast, and it was funny because I was gonna crack the joke ahead of time when I saw it. But you ended up making the joke before I could make it at your expense, which is just, this leads us into, I guess, the first topic, and we'll read all the super chats and memberships and stuff after the first segment. I
mean, does someone have a stopwatch, because it's gonna get mentioned in the first 10 minutes?
Yep.
There we go.
Let's just start there. So GTA 6 delayed. Like everybody at this point is aware of it, but GTA 6 is delayed. But perhaps the funniest tidbit of this is that it's expected that probably the Horizon Online multiplayer game launches like Q2 of next year. And so Jor had a very funny tweet where he just said, meeting happening inside Guerrilla Games right now to launch the Horizon project on May 19th. Because the first game launched right next to Breath of the Wild and the Switch. And then the second game launched right next to Elden Ring. And so they have the opportunity to do something really, really freaking funny and launch this right next to Grand Theft Auto 6. I would not put it past Herman, but
no. I mean, he's like, Horizon can take it.
It's like Horizon is a Star Wars level franchise. It can handle GTA 6. Let's be real. Yeah, it's been delayed. The other thing that you put out that I thought was crucial in this whole conversation, because we had some people come into stream just a little bit ago and they were like, how is it they work on this game for years and years and years, they target end of 25 and they need to delay it by another 6 months? Like, how does this even happen if you're a team this big that has this many eyes on you and the stakes are so crazy high? How does something like this happen? Because I mean, just this news caused their stock price to drop like 7% in the opening hours of the day as the news broke. And so how does this happen? Well, this is just kind of the modus operandi from Take-Two and from Rockstar. Their projects are just massive. It takes a lot of work and time to get it. And you pointed out that back in the day with Red Dead 2, the initial announced release time frame was fall of 2017, and they opened it for pre-orders. Bear in mind, you can't even pre-order GTA 6 yet, okay? So they had locked in pre-orders, and then they delayed it to the spring, and then they delayed it again into the fall. So you said, we have been here before. See you all October 2026. Which
it's gonna happen again.
At this point, I mean, it seems like history may be repeating itself.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the thing with this game. They are, I mean, kind of in a rush, but also not. So if there are really things that they can improve, they're just gonna put more like updates into GTA Online and still get a lot of money. People will be buying GTA 5 anyways, and they can just push the game until they're ready. But I do think it will release in 2026. But May is like I also now just thought of the fact that, are we all just gonna skip Summer Game Fest next year? It will be. That's not good, right? Jeff Keighley is like on the phone right now. It's like, okay, let's delay it by a few weeks.
Yeah, I mean, they might push it to like the last half of June. That I feel like a month is a good time. But that's the thing with this is GTA and then GTA Online most likely launches like a month after the story mode. That's what happened with Red Dead, is they launched the online after the base game, and so that would put like the online mode launching in late June or early July, which historically stuff doesn't launch in the summer. Yeah. Like big stuff, but like partially because like a lot of news outlets and stuff, content creators, streamers, they go on vacation in that period. Also because not a lot of stuff happens. So it's kind of a self-fulfilling circle. But the other piece of it too is that people are outside literally touching grass. And so there's not as many people locked inside to play video games on their couch. So you don't typically see big, huge, high-stakes stuff launching in that window. You see it launching in like the winter or the fall when people are at home, when there's holidays where people can justify spending money on big upgrades and stuff. And so May is a surprising time frame. Mm-hmm. If any game could get away with it, it's GTA 6, but it's also just still surprising. But it's also surprising that they gave it a date too, because you would think if they were still like, maybe we need more time, maybe they would say just spring of 2026. Yeah. But instead they chose to give a day, which is surprising to me if they're leaving the door open for another delay, which, you know, giving a specific date makes me think it's locked in.
It's nice for Guerrilla Games, so they know when to put the Horizon Online game out.
The day before, yeah.
No, yeah. I mean, like in all seriousness, like it is nice to know, like, if they are really launching in May, like it's nice for all the other developers, and May is a nice time for that. to not launch a few weeks before and not launch your game in June next year. So that is a nice gesture, I guess. But yeah, the whole GTA Online thing is very, very interesting because having that at the end of June just does not feel right or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
it's going to be interesting to see kind of how the cookie crumbles with it. And, I think in large part we're in uncharted territory because, Red Dead 2 was a massive game. No doubt about it. It was huge. One of the biggest games of all time at that point, if not the biggest. But, GTA 6 is also another couple steps above that in terms of not just the hype for it, but also how much money they've spent on it, how much money they're going to pour into like the long-term support of this project. I mean, it really is justifying a multi-billion-dollar corporation's valuation right now. So the stakes
for
are
the
just
next
super
10
high.
years. I mean, like that's of course the plan. They want this just like GTA 5 to rank in money for the years to come, be the best-selling game maybe every year. Like it will be in 2026 and maybe 2027 as well, which going to be crazy, of course. So they need to get it right. But that's why, I mean, also it now, like them saying May also means, it's not coming in our financial year from Take-Two. That of course ends at the end of March 2026. So that makes me think that this May date also means if they push it, it will still be in their 2027 financial year. So I think the reason for them to, or like if there's really something that makes the game better, that they will need extra time, I think the push is easily done. So
well,
we will see.
Here's a question, because somebody in chat brought this up right before in my previous stream. They asked, do you think that they've delayed it in order to try and get it running on the Switch 2?
No.
Do you think it runs on the Switch 2 at all?
Like what we heard from, I think, an ex-Rockstar dev back in the day, because PC is of course a way more important platform. So I think if they want to spend time on a different version, obviously PC is probably different than Switch 2 with all the bells and whistles and stuff. But like the reason why they want to launch on console first is to make sure, or just be able to focus on a few SKUs instead of having PC there too. I don't know. I think Switch 2 might come, but down the line, I don't know. I think they're really focused on just getting the game out.
I am inclined to agree. I mean, the big thing with Rockstar games, and this has been the centerpiece of the discussion over 60 FPS support, because other people were asking, have they delayed it to get it running at 60 FPS on these consoles? I think the problem is Rockstar games historically are CPU limited. So it's the CPU that can't keep up with the simulation stuff they're doing to allow it to run at higher frame rates. So on PC, you get a better CPU and then it can take off, but it's not the GPU that's limiting what they're able to do in terms of frame rates. It's the CPU. And even the PS5 Pro doesn't see, I think it was like a 10% bump roughly in terms of power compared to the PS5. And as a result, the odds of like PS5 Pro running it at 60 are much lower. Maybe they offer like a 40 FPS performance unlocked VRR mode or something. That's possible. But like a locked 60, I'd be shocked if they did that and pulled that off.
Yeah.
But when we talk about like the Switch 2, that's the other consideration is like people point to the Series S and say, well, the Series S or the Xbox One, which it just depends on which you're looking at. The Switch 2 is, I mean, it's a handheld device. Like it's running on most likely like an altered version of the Tegra X2 based on my Googling. And it's just not really comparable to even the one or Xbox Series S. And like, if that's the limiting factor, it doesn't really matter if the Switch has DLSS, because that's not the limiting factor. It's not that, it runs GTA 6, but at 240p upscaled. It's like, no, it literally cannot simulate the world the way it needs to do. And so maybe they can do some magic in the future to like alter the simulation stuff to get it running, but I would again just be very surprised if they got it working. Historically, Rockstar, they work on, like Jor said, the launch SKUs, and then they work on the new SKUs after that. People are also asking, are they going to delay it so that they can get PC launching day one with it? I don't think so. With previous games, they launch the console versions and then they start on the PC versions, really working on those and putting a lot of manpower behind them. And so if they're needing to delay it now, I don't think it's because they're trying to, like, they changed their mind to add PC support day one. I just don't think that's the case. Most likely, they're just polishing.
Yeah. If it is one of the new platforms, like, I would see PC over Switch too. I think that audience is way more important to them, especially with a bigger focus likely on GTA Online. The role playing is, of course, huge there, but
yeah,
I would not be surprised. Like, it's really in Microsoft and Sony's best interest that they are not talking about the PC version yet.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are gonna buy consoles for this, even if they usually play all their games on PC. So I think it really, there are just too many things going for the fact that they just stick to those two SKUs.
Well, and
three with Series S and
with
X.
that, we were talking about on the stream prior to this, I saw a piece from an industry analyst who mainly covers electronics, but he was saying part of the consideration that's possible, he's like, of course, I think they're delaying it to polish it up, and there's that. But the other piece is GTA 6 kind of needs to move consoles in order to also increase the margin, because they're expecting this to be like the biggest console seller of the generation so far.
Yeah.
And if like the tariff stuff isn't sorted out by the fall, which it might be, the stock market's up a lot today because there's discussions and there's insinuations that talks are going to happen and there might be a trade deal sorted out. But let's say hypothetically no trade deal happens, tariffs are still at 145% on Chinese made consoles. You could be looking at $700-800 consoles by the holiday season in the US, to be clear. In which case, like, Rockstar is not that thrilled at the odds of people buying that and an $80 or $100+ version of GTA 6. The odds of that happening are really low. So maybe you delay it to polish, but then you also are delaying it because you can try to buy more time for the tariff stuff to get sorted out. I don't know.
I think it's like only positive. And I mean, we have not even talked about that, but right now, the furthest, like before GTA 6 delay, the furthest out release that we had was for Ghost of Yotei, October 2nd. Like, all the games have been scared of going in that end of October, mid-November window, because that is where we all expected GTA 6 to land. It's going to be so fascinating, I think, this month going into Summer Game Fest, where I would not be surprised if trailers that first had 2025 at the end during Summer Game Fest will now be like, okay, let's dedicate ourselves to a specific date. So that will be very interesting. Like, we know Crimson Desert is, of course, coming late 2025. The Battlefield game, they always said, if the launch window, for whatever reason, GTA 6, of course, but they didn't want to say that. Yeah, we will be moving our game. But I think EA has, if they got the game ready, I think this year is pretty big for them, because the Call of Duty game seems to be kind of an iteration more than like a brand new game like last year. So we might see that. I think the Black Flag remake has a very high chance now of dropping, of course, at the end of the year. So there's a lot of like interesting things that now happened and that we will see in the coming weeks because of this delay. And it will be fascinating to follow. Another interesting thing, of course, is, and that's why I think if they are going to do early access, it's helping them way more, because now everyone is like May 26th. Normally, when there's early access for a game, they announce the date with the early access. But now we all have, May 26th. I can't wait. Wait, you tell me I can play a week early? Like, they already know probably, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be so fascinating to see how this rollout will be. And of course, we will touch on the Xbox stuff that happened this week as well. But with them now moving to $80 games, like, this game is going to be 80 at least. But there's going to be a ultra super duper edition or whatever.
Oh, yeah. I've said for a long time, I think they do like a 2-week early access thing, and it's like
Only digital, yeah.
Yeah, only digital, and I think it's gonna be like 120, $150 or whatever, and it's gonna sell like crazy because the FOMO will be so potent. It will be
Yeah.
crazy.
And then that May window is not that weird anymore, because then you would be in mid-May, and then you can launch GTA Online pretty soon, like mid-June, I think, and then get away with that.
Just
or have early access for
really
that
piss
too.
off Jeff Keighley. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, Jeff, when are you gonna do Summer Game Fest? Okay, that's when we drop.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out. But either way, I mean, like you said, I think it's nothing but positives for the delay to happen. It means that the game we get is going to be more polished. That's good. It means that the games throughout the rest of this year have time to like really shine, and there's going to be a good number of them. The fact they put a date on it, I think you said courtesy. I think that's a good word for it. It's like a courtesy to the industry to just be like, okay, we're going to stop being kind of dicks about it. You can like schedule knowing what's happening. And so I think that's also good.
And then they will delay it.
And then they'll delay it. Yeah. It's going to be interesting to see how like next year plays out too, because there were a lot of games that I think internally delayed to 2026 because like, okay, we'll spend more time on it and we'll also get away from GTA 6. And now GTA 6 is just sitting there waiting for them.
But that's why that May window is great, because usually you still, all those publishers want their game in that financial year. So if you launch at the end of March, you're still safe. So again, even if you push your game to early next year, you're safe. So that's pretty cool.
What's interesting though is like, if we ponder the potential for like Game of the Year considerations next year, I think those also just got a lot more interesting, because this year is like we were gonna have maybe like Ghost of Yotei, Doom, Clair Obscur, like K-City 2, those games. But next year we probably see a good number of like big PlayStation first party games. There's rumors rumors and speculation that if you look at the internal reports from the FTC hearings and you like push all the timelines back to what they ended up being, like Xbox originally anticipated Starfield launching in 2021. They originally anticipated the Oblivion remaster launching 2 years ago from today. So like their timelines were all off by 2 years, which would put Elder Scrolls 6 next fall. And so imagine like a GTA versus Elder Scrolls 6 Game of the Year contention. That would be fascinating, you know?
I am not seeing that. I think it will be Starfield DLC 3, and that will be what they put out.
Or maybe the Starfield DLC is the Elder Scrolls 6, and Todd's like, we have united the universes. The crossover event has occurred. The dimensions have merged. Yeah, it's going to be good. I mean, either way, I'm happy with it.
I mean, Fable, Gears, the new Gears, like Microsoft has some great stuff that they pushed as well. You would hope Perfect Dark is finally happening. We know Interstellar or Intergalactic is
probably 27.
Yeah, exactly. But the Housemarque game is next year. Horizon Online, of course. Nintendo will probably have their 3D Mario. So yeah, I mean, I think, and I made a tweet about that as well, I think the Game of the Year this year has been decided, though. Like, I would be shocked.
I think the odds of an upset at this point are low. I mean, I thought the odds of Expedition 33 getting handed Game of the Year over like GTA 6 were relatively high. Because, I mean, even if we just assume GTA 6 is phenomenal, if we rewind the clocks to 2018 when the discussion was happening between Red Dead and God of War, a lot of people decided to give it to God of War because they felt like it was more of a risk. They thought it was more of an achievement. Like Rockstar performing really well is like, you know, Usain Bolt winning a race. You're like, yeah, kind of saw that coming. But if you see like little Timmy win the race or get close to Usain Bolt, that's almost more impressive. And so people want to reward that. And I think the odds were decent for it. Maybe at like 35, 40% that it could beat out GTA 6. Now, I think far and away it's like 70, 80%. Like there's a chance that maybe something upsets it later in the year. But I think the odds are pretty damn high now.
Like Silksong might come out, but I think that's also, it's the sequel. It's amazing. But look at this brand new thing from this smaller team and etc. So yeah, we will see. But it has been an interesting year so far, and even without GTA, like I never expected GTA, to be honest. So it will be interesting to see how the rest of the year will play out. And I also think like a lot of the games that were in the summer will be like moving a bit too, because everything in August and September was not a good thing at all. So they might like move around a bit too. It's like there's some we can relax, we can finally
take a
plan
breath.
things out. Yeah, without having the looming Rockstar over our head. Let's do some super chats and maybe yeah.
Let's do it. First things first. Let me go here. There we go. Justin, before we even started the stream, we had some members join.
Woo!
Justin,
I mean, they want the new emotes, of course. I get it.
They want the emotes. They want to get in the Discord server that Jor is a member of, by the way. So everybody's having a party in there. So Justin Reeves became a member. Anti Parzival became a member. Joey2379 became a member. Kane, who I accidentally mispronounced the other day as Kanye. Kane, actually Kane, super chatted 10. What up, Jor? Any plans on playing Days Gone Remastered? Lol, we meet again, Luke. We do indeed.
Oh, that was it. Yeah. No, actually, I have it installed, so I want to jump in, but it's kind of like there's so many other games. It's kind of this game should have, I don't know, shadow dropped as well, or did something more interesting. But I'm hearing good things about it. They actually had some more things that they announced. Like there is a weapon you can actually use against some hordes in New Game Plus, I think. So they have some Easter eggs, some secrets. So I will totally be jumping in, but I don't know when.
Yeah, it launched at a really bad time. Like, really rough time. Oh, this is a good one. Sumaya super chatted and said, Jor, why are you adding timestamps on your videos? You don't add those so you can extract maximum watch time from your viewers. Can't believe I have to explain this to a guy with 1 million subscribers. Shake my head.
And have 5 likes on it. I loved how you said this is a good one. I was like, okay, let's go.
Yep.
No, you're right. I'm gonna remove all the timestamps, and if people complain about it, I'm gonna send them to you. I got your email, got your phone number, so be careful. You gotta get a lot of very kind messages asking you to bring them back.
That's only fair. It's only fair. Thank you for that, Sumaya. Zoob, thank you for the 5. Assuming you pay to avoid common FOMO, Genshin clones will provide more content per buck than Elder Scrolls 6.
Wow. Where did that come from?
I'm trying to think into context of what we're saying. I think if you consider like different versions of skins that have different star levels, and you love gacha mechanics, then you probably have a lot there.
This is not gonna happen. But what if Horizon Online is a Genshin free-to-play game, and it has you gamble for characters like the old lady that you.
Do you want to play as a walking loaf of bread? The odds are low, but you can pull for her.
How's your pity, Luke? But I mean overall, I think overall, and there have been so many Genshin clones already, and overall it's I think still very impressive what Genshin has done also for the free-to-play market, because free-to-play games were always like, I mean Warframe did it of course as well, but it was usually a free-to-play. And looking at like what Genshin gives you in terms of content, if you can hold yourself back and don't want to gamble on the new waifu that gets added every month or so, then you do get like a lot of bang for your buck, and it's quality content. The games look great. It's really impressive what they were able to achieve to have it run and look really pretty on console, PC, but also work on your mobile phone. So I think it's like very interesting what those games did, but on the other hand, it's like they are real like that only works because there are whales that are gambling. And I mean, we heard stories in Japan and other countries in particular where people like waste all their money on these games because when you like, they really look at, for example, what Las Vegas is doing with the slot machines to make sure that when you gamble in a game like Genshin, you get the same visual effects and stuff like that. It's nothing new, of course. EA does it as well with sports games and other companies too.
Yeah.
But
they do it because it makes money. I'm gonna bring up a little bit of DSP lore just for people, but like even just this one YouTuber people know about, Darkside Phil. Like there's pages that track his spending in this mobile game. He plays a WWE gotcha game, and like just like a week ago, in a single day period of playing this game, these guys tracked him spending $1,100 like in a day. He's on track. Like at this point, he's put, by some estimations, they've put like $200,000 into that one mobile game. Like, can you imagine having an addiction like that? It's horrifying. But that's like, this is why they can do it and run these games, because they make so much money from the whales. The average person might buy like a pack for $3, like a Hearthstone kind of thing. You buy it for $3, you try it. Ooh, I got something. But like some people, they get addicted to that like pulling gambling thing and they can't stop. And it becomes this like sunk cost fallacy thing where they're like, oh, I spent $100 here. I spent $100, but I didn't get the character I want. So I've got to spend another 100 and keep pulling until I get them. Otherwise I wasted that money. When in reality, you wasted it from the start, but like, you know, it just keeps going and going. At least like I see people joking about Star Citizen. Star Citizen people are also kind of crazy, but at least Star Citizen, they're like, no, this ship is $1,000. And you get the ship if you give them the money. With gacha stuff, you can spend $1,000 and still not get the thing you wanted. Like it's just crazy, dude. The gacha stuff is crazy. If you're a responsible adult, cool. Spend your money how you want, but I do feel for the people that have gambling addictions and like cannot stop. You know, it'll ruin their life. It'll really ruin their life. But yeah,
so I would prefer buying Elder Scrolls 6 for $80 or $100 or whatever it's gonna cost when it comes out, and then be done with it.
Yeah. Let's see. Shifting forward, Sumaya again. Are you ready, George? No, this one's okay. The people who can't wait for GTA 6 need to replay GTA 5 and understand they are victims of American consumerism and an inability to delay gratification. Get good. Yeah. I think it's like GTA 6 is going to be, and it's already sort of becoming a cultural event. You know, even Red Dead 2 to a certain extent was a cultural event, at least in the US. Like big shows like South Park started talking about it, and they had characters like the whatever, I don't think he's technically is he the police chief? I think he is. But they had like the police chief character that was like, you know, putting on his hat to go outside, and then he sits on the couch to play more GTA or more Red Dead because he's like going to start a new life away from his wife who's been playing on his save file. And it was like a big topic at the time. And GTA 6 is going to be that again. And that level of just overwhelming exposure is going to work wonders for GTA 6. Like,
it's already like insanely mainstream when I look, for example, at our local, like our Dutch, the biggest Dutch news company, and they post a random thing about something that happened. People are like, whoa, this happened before GTA 6. Like that is of course the meme that's been going around already, and it's going way beyond our gaming circle, and like it's gonna be we're not ready.
Yeah. No, it's gonna be crazy. And if you are somebody that is not interested in GTA, if it's, I don't know, just it doesn't appeal to you, if you don't get the hype, cool. Savor that. Because you'll be one of 15 rational people during that time, because everybody else is going to be crazy. I've predicted for a long time, I think there's going to be like a quantifiable drop in global productivity that day. I think electrical grids will get slammed. I think you'll see specifically jobs that are mostly run by like young adult men, mass call outs if people didn't get the time off approved. Like it's going to be crazy. Right now, I bet already some of you guys have already gone into your job and asked for May 26th off, I would guess. You know, setting the vacation time. If you haven't, you probably should
Don't
do that.
it. Don't do it.
Because
You can also
first come,
do
first
it
serve.
in April.
I'm just saying, if it's first come, first serve.
come.
But that would be the mistake, is if you did it for March or for May 26th, and then early access is a week or two before that.
Oh, yeah.
And then you're playing on launch day like a brokey.
You should do October 26th. Like,
dude, that'd be so
really
funny if they did that again.
Yeah.
Like literally, you go big brain, you launch it that far out. Oh, that'd be so good.
And then you're like at the company, you hear about the delay, like you want to ask for like a day off, and there's no room anymore because all the other people were very smart and listened to this podcast, and they were like, "Dude, we knew that this was gonna get delayed."
Yeah, Jor told me. Yeah. It's that good old Australian wisdom, you know. Okay. Almost caught up. Sumaya also with a super chat. I reached the first flag in Expedition 33. Am I the only one getting Attack on Titan vibes? Yeah, I could kind of see that. I could see that. Matt Carnes, thank you for the 2. I'm just happy to have a solid release date. Yeah, at least we know now, and other publishers can plan for it. Gemini Man, thank you for the 2. They were scared of Expedition 33. They were like, get out of there. And then Mia, thank you for the 13 months of membership. Oh, baby. Can we have an emoji of Jor wearing a Crocodile Dundee hat to commemorate that one person who thought he was Australian? Yes. I'm adding it to my to-do list. We will do that.
My God.
We will do that. Jor the Crocodile Hunter. Okay. I've added it to the to-do list. We'll send it to Tori. She'll love it.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be great. Okay, we're all caught up. Where do you want to go next now that we've talked about GTA?
GTA.
The elephant in the room. Xbox?
Yeah, I think it's Xbox time.
Yeah, it's pizza time. So
pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, the big news is that Xbox has now raised the price on everything. To give you a little graph, this is from Insider Gaming. They did a good little breakdown, put this in chart form, and you guys know how much I love charts. So as you can see here, we have, maybe if I go like this, oh wait, hold on, I'm breaking it. Oh my God. I was trying to be helpful. It made it worse. So we have the Xbox Series S has seen price hikes. The base console at 512 gigabytes is now $380. Series S 1 terabyte goes from $350 to $430. Series X digital goes from $450 to $550, $100 jump. Same with the Series X main console, goes from $500 to $600. Pretty much everything is getting $80 to $100 bump. And then in terms of the accessories, these are also seeing a price jump for a lot of them, usually around $10 or $20 in some cases, like for the full Series 2 Elite controller that gets a $20 bump. Everything else is 10 or no change. And then they also confirmed that they're going to be raising the prices of some of their AAA games this holiday season to $80. I think this is, some people are like, oh, are they crazy? Nobody's buying an Xbox as is. How is this going to help? My response to that is, yeah, it's not going to help.
I thought now he's going to get the analysis going. Okay.
I'm like, nope. I don't know why you'd buy a $600 Xbox Series X right now. I don't see it. It seems crazy to me, but just because right now the Series X doesn't make any sense, just give it a few weeks, because I would bet you good money. I'd bet you a couple Concords that Sony is going to raise their prices, because right now is like a corporate shark's dream. Okay. Like it's their dream scenario. They have tariffs right now that offer a short-term increase in price that everybody agrees is happening, right? You have inflation. That already is normally a pretty good excuse to raise your prices. And even once inflation drops, or even if, God forbid, deflation happens, you can keep the prices where they were and after increasing your margins. But with the tariff thing, right now, they can say we had to raise our prices because of tariffs. We had no choice. But you better believe the moment The tariffs lift, nothing changes. They keep the prices the exact same level. They're not going to drop the price from 600 to 500 just because the tariffs go away. No, they just raise the price. They increase the margin. They're happy. Same thing's going to happen with the Switch. They're not going to be like magically dropping the price below 450 next week if a trade deal happens. They're not going to be like, if PlayStation raises the price, they're not going to adjust it from there. They're not going to go from $80 a copy back down to 70 or something. This is just the new normal, and Nintendo was the first domino to fall. Now Xbox is doing it, and soon Sony will. A bunch of other publishers will do it. This is just the new normal. And it sucks because I think this actually is at the point where it prices a good number of people out of the market. Like, I know if I was back where I was in college, like, I wouldn't be able to afford these consoles. Like, I'd be priced out at this point. And that just sucks that a lot of people are not going to get the chance to play these games because they just don't have the money to throw at it. It just blows.
Yeah, it's still wild that buying a console at launch this generation was the cheapest way to get it. Like, that's insane to think about.
I think it does. We touched on this in the last stream, but I think it does, or most likely will lead to a big push towards leasing programs. They've already started it. In case people aren't familiar, PlayStation has a thing called PlayStation Flex in certain markets. In this case, this is the program for the UK, where for £11 per month, you basically lease for 12, 24, or 36 month terms. You pay a monthly fee and you get the PS5, you get a controller. You can even lease other options. So you can see like the PlayStation 5 Pro, you can lease for $18.95 a month. And then you get access to the latest generation of consoles for a low monthly fee. And then at the end of your lease, you turn it back in and they take it back. They probably sell it refurbished to make money on the back end. But I think for a lot of people, this is the extent of how they're going to be able to afford getting into the generation. I think this is going to be where a lot of the companies start pushing is you will own nothing and you will like it. You're going to lease it and you'll thank us for it. That's just where they're going to go, because a lot of people cannot afford $600 plus $80 for the controller plus $80 for the game. Like, it just gets crazy expensive, crazy quick. But that's just where we are now.
Or that Fire Stick suddenly, playing Xbox games through that suddenly got a way better deal. So for Microsoft, I think it's clear, like, they just don't want to lose money on these consoles, and they were not selling a lot anyway. So to then also lose money on it, it's clear that that's not their priority anymore. But it is interesting now that the PlayStation 5, they did not increase prices in the US, right? Because they have increased prices in Europe twice. Like, the digital version is now €50 cheaper than the one with the disc drive. So while normally it's like a $100 difference, of course. So it is interesting because in Europe the Xbox price is only raised by €50 instead of 100. So it is clear that, of course, Microsoft is lagging behind in Europe, so that's why they are doing less of an increase. And PlayStation, of course, they have the biggest battle with Microsoft in the US, so that's why they're not increasing their prices there. But overall, I saw a lot of people, what is your take on it? I thought it was kind of like, I don't think this is Nintendo's fault. Like, people were immediately pointing at, oh, Nintendo started this. I really think this would have happened even if Nintendo did not go $80 or 90 with physical games for their titles.
I think it probably is a matter of timing. Like, I agree, inevitably prices were going to rise. That's just how it was going to be. So I think they would have moved to 80. They just would have waited till after GTA 6 did it, and then that would have been the norm. I think in terms of raising the prices on their hardware, it was pretty much mandated. They kind of had to do it because it's very possible that they were going to lose money on consoles as purchasing power has plummeted and the trade wars kind of kicked off. It just doesn't make that much sense. And they're not selling that many, like Jorah said. So realistically, how many people are going to be impacted by these price hikes? Like, not many. Let's be completely honest. Not many people are buying Series X's. So to a certain extent, I think it was inevitable, but this is just what happens. It happened when 2K did NBA 2K 21 at $70. All of a sudden, everybody started moving towards that because it was normalized, and then everybody kind of went there and they didn't have to absorb the blow. And in this case, Nintendo started the $80 premium price point. Now everybody else can kind of drift there. So it's not that surprising. But I mean, it's kind of the point of why they're doing it now is because they also get to point to Nintendo, and Nintendo gets to share some of the blame for it. Because it's like, yeah, screw you. It's like, you could just point at Xbox, but no. But I think, for Microsoft, the $80 price point is kind of a double-edged sword. Stabbing into Sony, because on the one hand, Microsoft has been the number one publisher on PlayStation. Like this past month, I think for this past quarter period, they were the top publisher, beating out even Sony themselves.
Yeah, with Oblivion, Indiana Jones, Forza Horizon, of course.
Yeah, doing very, very well. Prior to that, Avowed and all sorts of stuff. And so for them, raising the price to 80 just means more money from PlayStation gamers getting paid straight to them. It also makes the current price point of Game Pass seem like an even better deal. Now, realistically, Game Pass also raises in price as well. If you think that Game Pass is staying where it is, you're dumber than a dummy. Like, it's, of course they're going to raise the price, because now it seems like a crazy good deal compared to the $80 price point. So if they raise it by $5 a month, then it's like, yeah, so maybe it's not as crazy of a good deal, but it's still a very good deal. And they just found a way to ladder you up higher to give them more money and more money and more money. So everything is just going to go up in price. But, the one edge of screwing over PlayStation gamers, getting more money from them for not being in the Xbox ecosystem natively, that hurts PlayStation, but it also really helps Xbox's bottom line. And then also it makes Game Pass seem even more appealing. And their whole goal is to try and find ways to make that feel like a better and better and better value. And this also helps them do that. Now, do I think many people will be buying an Xbox Series X because they're like, oh, I have to pay $80 for Call of Duty. I'm going to trade in my PlayStation to buy a $600 Xbox. I don't think that happens that much. But I don't. But
it did not even happen with the previous. Like, if Microsoft has the data now, and I really think that Call of Duty in Game Pass, I would not be surprised if it evened out. Like the Game Pass subscriptions they gained. Now, of course, do they stick around so they get like a monthly fee from all those people every month? Like, then it might be nice in the long term, but they obviously plummeted their sales of the game on Xbox. Because I think we Matt Piscatella, of course, from Circana, who has all the US data, he said that subscriptions have been flat ever, like since they were kind of like a big deal with Game Pass putting all the games there day one, and it only saw one bump, and that was when Call of Duty launched. But after that, it just stayed the same. So it was always the question: are subscriptions going to be the future? It's just clear that it will all just be an option, and even Call of Duty did not change that. So yeah, that's of course why Microsoft is putting all their games on other platforms too. But it's it's already $20 a month for Game Pass. I mean, this month you got like an insane deal though. So it's
that's, I mean, it's people, I see people in chat are like, but they just raised the price. Yeah. When has that ever stopped them before? Like, of course, if they think that they can get another $5 out of you, that now represents a 25% price hike from the ultimate tier. And that's a huge boon to the bottom line. I mean, that's major when you're talking about 30 plus million subscribers paying 20, even, for lower tiers, 10, 15, $20 a month. Even a 20, even a 2% bump in revenue can be major. So they're going to do it. I mean, when they do it, they probably pair it with a major release. They probably pair it
Call of Duty at the end, I think.
Yeah, like right before Call of Duty, which is what they did last year. I think that is almost certainly going to happen. So, it's just because like right now, one product that Microsoft is selling seems like a really good value does not mean that they all of a sudden are magically your friends and are looking out for your best interests. Like, they're a company they're worth $3 trillion for a reason, and they're going to raise the price just like any other company would.
Probably.
But I think, there's some people that I see might make comments like, it's still cheaper than trying to game in the late 80s or early 90s if you adjust for inflation and things. And this whole thing has always just given me kind of a migraine, frankly, because at the end of the day, anybody can put numbers into an inflation calculator. I love doing it. I love finance stuff. But the only thing that matters is whether customers believe your product is worth that price that they see. You can pull out a spreadsheet, a whiteboard. You can show them, well, if adjusted for inflation, it actually would be at this price. Nobody gives a crap if they think it's not worth $80. If they think that Mario Kart is not worth that, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because what matters is how much that feels to the consumer and their bottom line and their dollar right now. Because inflation adjusted the price points like this, but everything else has also skyrocketed in price compared to the value of the dollar. And then also wages haven't grown significantly. Like, there's all these other factors that are ignored when you just put something into a CPI calculator. It doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, all that matters is whether people think your product is worth what you're charging in that moment. And that's where everybody will decide. Like, is Game Pass worth it at 20? I think for a lot of people, yeah. Is it worth it at 25? Time will tell. Is Mario Kart worth 80 to you? Time will tell. And you'll vote with your dollar at the end of the day, But I just don't understand why people are like trying to play defense for the multi-billion-dollar corporation that literally, like, you are a statistic. You are sub-statistics for them. Like, they really don't care if you're upset by it. Like, they're going to raise the price to 80 for AAA games. They'll eventually raise the price on Game Pass. They'll raise the price of accessories and the consoles and stuff because their data shows that they can get away with it. And they might be right. People might still buy it. People might still give them lots of money. But defending it based on inflationary stuff, I think is just silly, because you are on the consumer side of this equation. You're arguing against your best interests. I don't understand why you would do that. Like, the better thing is more games that are better and that more people get access to, so the gaming industry can be healthy and thrive, and we get better games that are a better value. That's what we should be rooting for. And then they'll do the other side of the tug of war, and we land somewhere in the middle where everybody benefits. But hopping and swapping teams to go and fight for the company that doesn't care about you has never made sense to me. It's just like, what are you doing? What? Like, it's just so stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Like, one more thought on this is, we will probably not see the ramifications of this until, we will just notice the ramification for this for the months to come, because we already had a really big issue that we also discussed on previous episodes, that the pool of people buying new games has already been like less and less, because people just stick with their live service games that just were not really a thing on console in particular 5-10 years ago. So now to also higher the barrier to entry for new people to come in, because usually what happens during a console generation, and that gives it more life, is that the people that play at the start, there will be constantly new people coming in. And if you were not gonna buy an Xbox or PlayStation at launch for $500, then you're not gonna buy it for $600 a few years later. Only like something like a GTA can do that. So we're already, like, the amount of games that are coming out right now, it's insane. There's like, today I was reminded of this game from the Castlevania makers, Lords of Shadow. I can't even remember the name, but that's like a game that, it's not Bound by Flame, that's a different game, but it's something like that.
You're talking about
I think I know a quick way to get it.
Blades of Fire, is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's wow.
Yeah,
it's called Blades of Fire.
Blades of Fire. Yeah, we did a video on the main channel
really?
for that game, actually. Yeah, we just did a little I tried for it as well.
Oh, okay.
I didn't realize those guys made they worked on Metroid Dread as well.
Oh yeah,
like that was their main last project, which is crazy.
I mean, they're a talented developer, but my point is, like, this is launching in a few weeks, and I really struggle to see that game performing well. And even if it will be very good, it's just hard to get people's attention and ask them to spend money, and especially if everything is raising in price, and not only, of course, for games. So looking at what we see in the summer with all the games coming out then, and I really feel that even more than before, people are just gonna pick their few safe bets. A Ghost of Yota, you know what you're gonna get. It will be probably worth your money. I don't think a lot of people will try something new unless it's like Expedition 33, where they hear all this praise. And I think that's just really gonna hurt everything in the long run. And maybe more people will now go to free-to-play games because it's easy for them to play. But will those games then get more money? Not if people spend less on them too. So I just think overall, with all these price increases and the economics of things, it's not gonna look great, I think, for the industry as a whole, and that might result in even more layoffs than we've already seen, because we already had the layoffs, and that was even before all these price increases, the tariffs, and all that sort of stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, it reminds me of so many of these other discussions around price hikes in other industries too, where it's like the one of the things to remember is that there's only so much money. Like, people only have so much money. So you raise the prices, they will buy less because they're not made of money. And that makes them even pickier. And that's why, like, some of the easy assumptions, which is, okay, well, we raised the price of our AAA games to $80, and now, they'll sell the same level they were previously, but we'll just make more money because we walked the price up, slowly. But I think that's a dangerous assumption to make, because there is going to be fall off, and they account for some of it, certainly. But there's going to be some people who were on the edge at 70, like, oh, this game in question got like 85 on Metacritic. I wanted to try it. It looks like it could be good. Reviews are pretty good. 70, I'm stretching, but I'll give it a shot. At 80, a lot of people, I think, and I would say a significant margin of people, are just going to be like, yeah, I don't know. I'll just wait for a sale. I'll just wait. Mm-hmm. I'll wait for it to go to Game Pass. I'll wait. And I think that's where, on the AAA side of things, the industry is going to be permanently affected by this, because I think that there's going to be a lot more skepticism and careful consideration, specifically when it comes to like AA and lower tier AAA games, where people are just like, you're charging a lot. Now, on the flip side, there's a benefit where a company can come along and charge $50-$60, and that seems like a hell of a deal. And so people are going to give your game a second look, because it seems like a pro-consumer offering. But yeah, you can't just raise prices across the board in the industry by 10 to 13% and expect the consumer to behave the same way they did before. I just don't think that's the case. So I think you'll see a lot more of those 8 out of 10s, 7 out of 10s, definitely. Those are going to start to flop really hardcore, because people are just not going to buy it day one. And it's not worth the risk of their dollar when they know that this other AAA game is coming out, next month. It's going to be 80 or 90. So it's going to have long lasting impacts, I think.
For
certainly.
Sure. I want to do a game with you in a moment, but let's do the super chats first.
Okay. Oh, I'm excited. Let's see. Where did we leave off? Okay. Bouchard, thank you for that. Super chat. GTA 6 is coming fall 2026, 100%. I mean, it'd be really funny if they launched on October 26th again. Caleb, thank you for the 10. Hey, Luke, it's Jor's mom, and he is actually really upset that the one guy thought he was Australian. It would make him feel better if you tell everyone, like his stream. That's an inside joke. I don't know if you were here for the last time we did the mom thing, but it's a long story. Anyway, yeah. Jor's mom. He's not Australian. He's not Australian. Wink.
Boy.
Oi. Crikey.
That's all I got.
Crikey. Typhlosion, thank you for the 10. You will own nothing and be happy. Yeah, I mean that's basically where it's going a lot. Where instead of just selling you the product, they could lease it to you. That makes way more sense. That's what Game Pass is. That's what xCloud is. GeForce Now. You don't need to own a PC. You just rent ours. You lease ours for 10 minutes, for an hour at a time. Makes way more sense for people.
That's crazy that we are going back in time. Like that was like old school stuff that you would go and rent your console. Like
it's all cyclical. It's all cyclical.
Yeah, exactly.
Like we all get rid of cable to go to streaming services because they're way better, and then the streaming services like, wait, we're not making money, so they all come together. They join up to create super subscription services, and you realize you're just paying for cable again. It's the same exact thing. Let's see. Limits Breaker. Sorry. Thank you for the 2. Gamefly emailed me about their price hike already. I did see that Gamefly also raised their prices. I didn't know that Gamefly was still a thing, but apparently it is. The Meep Kid, thank you for the 5. I'm excited. Indie going to explode because of the price hike. Yeah, I mean, I think you'll see a lot more games like Clear Obscure and like Pal World. Those smaller budget, smaller team games are gonna just keep popping off because people are kind of burnt out on the big, quadruple A type things. Nate, thank you for the 5. Hey Luke, hey Luke, what would Nikki say if you bought a life-size pillow of Todd? I'm sure Jeff has one of Kojima that he sleeps with. Whispers, your best friend. I think she would roll her eyes and then just not ever
Says
acknowledge
Luke doesn't already have one.
Yeah, there's a reason I've not opened that door for you guys. Yeah. There's a reason.
It's like a room with all like life-size stuff and like, yeah.
Yeah, there's a reason I've never shown you under the desk. We just don't risk it. A footrest, Jor. Get your mind out of the gutter. How dare you? Let's see.
16 times the detail.
16 times.
16 times the detail.
Martin, thank you for the membership for 1 month. Ooh, baby. At the end of the day, it's always the people, be it as taxpayers or consumers, who picks up the bills of corporate incompetence. Such great times to live in. Yeah, and that's why it's all the funnier when you see people defending it. as somebody has their boot on your throat, you still defend them. It doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make sense. Which is why we make fun of people who do that, because it's stupid. Okay, what's this game you want to play? What's this game?
So we talked about the running, of course, at the start of the episode. There's a game that is all about running, or at least has a name.
Yes.
About running. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's still going. Maybe you forgot about it. I know quite some people did. And right now it is on Twitch. I looked earlier today. It is increased. But how many people are watching Marathon right now on Twitch?
I've not pulled it up yet. I was about to, so we could look at it. I'm gonna guess before I do that. I'm gonna guess like 490.
Whoa! That was like earlier today. It is
really
bigger, but it's like it's mostly one streamer.
Okay. 1.7. Leopard has 1,000 something. And other than that, there's
not a lot. And Arc Raiders.
Oh, Arc Raiders.
Off.
I won't look at it. Arc Raiders, I'm gonna guess there's like 12,000.
74,000.
Whoa.
Dude, like them launching that, or 77 even. It's like increasing. But them launching that around the same time, it makes the whole... Yeah, I think it might be a good video idea maybe for you, because like Arc Raiders is seemingly... And from what I've watched some streams, like it really has... I watched like a stream for 5 minutes and I was already way more engaged, because they were walking in this like open space and there was this huge spider robot in the distance and some other characters were fighting it, and they with the group were like, are we gonna engage? Are we gonna wait for the spider to take them out? How many people do we need to take this big robot out? So there were already like a lot of like interesting things going on. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure if that's like a thing in Marathon where you like fight huge bosses or something. I've not seen that at least.
No, so I played some Arc Raiders last night. I also had the chance to play a little bit at a little private preview they held for creators, but I had sort of a family emergency pop up, so I wasn't able to finish the event, which is why I didn't do a video on it. But I have played a good chunk of Arc Raiders, and I think it just is the prime example of it is single-handedly the greatest argument for why Marathon needs a delay, because it features so many different things that Marathon does not have that they've said they might add later. It's frankly ridiculous. Like it's crazy. Crafting systems, solo mode, like solo queuing, proximity chat. They just like all of these big mechanics that are kind of crucial for long-term engagement in a game like this. Marathon doesn't have it, and when you ask the devs, they say, yeah, we are exploring it for post-launch. It's like, you don't have time to explore. Like, you're competing against these games that are done, that have a ton of stuff. This is also in an alpha right now. Like, allegedly, Marathon and this game are in roughly the same stage of development. They both are slated currently for release later this year. Arc Raiders might get pushed to like early next year, maybe, but we'll see. But it just the amount of content is night and day. Even something like this, what you're seeing on screen right now, if you're watching the show, is Shroud's stream. And the menu, when you load in with your teammates, has finalized lighting and UI. Wow. Marathon doesn't even have that. Like it's crazy how different these are in terms of
how many people are working on Arc Raiders. It's way less probably, right? It's like X DICE people, right?
It is. So this is what's funny. The size of Embark is the name of the studio.
Embark
is the size of the amount of people working on Marathon. But the people at Embark are also running the finals at the same time.
Yeah.
So all of Embracer is the same size as the team that's making Marathon, but they're also making another game at the same time. So size doesn't matter, asks Miltia. Yeah, it seems size does not matter. But I mean, again, I think
like
it's
16 job openings, by the way. They're doing well.
They're doing well. The finals is a really good time, frankly. I really like the finals.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of people sleep on it, but it's very, very good. But this is one that's been in the works for a while. And again, it's just, I feel like it demonstrates even more clearly just how far behind Marathon is for where it should be at this point. And I think it's the best argument for why Marathon needs like another year or two before it's ready.
Crazy.
The current game director has only been working on Marathon for almost 2.5 years. He's not even at a full 2 years, 6 months since he was hired by Bungie. And he's the one that came in and overhauled it and swapped it to a hero-based extraction shooter from the more traditional one that they did before or were working on before. And so I think it just is even more clear now that Marathon is not ready. They probably are rushing it out because Sony just wants to get it out the door. If they don't get a delay, I find it really hard to come up with any explanation other than Sony is just done with Bungie.
Yeah.
Like they're just fed up with them because it's not ready. And this game kind of proves it.
Yeah, man. Crazy times. But hey, it does show, like, that's of course what a lot of people were like, oh, extraction shooters, is there any room? Like, yes, if you do it well. And I'm like looking at this gameplay for Arc Raiders, and I'm like, why did you this is the Division in a very cool setting, like in terms of like looking at it from the third person perspective. Like I think it's wild that they are unable, with the amount of people they have, and they certainly have talented people, to not have launched a single free-to-play game. And you got Embark now on their second game. And this might be even bigger than the finals, even though the finals I think is doing relatively well too for their first like live service game. And I see they are self-publishing it. While of course with the finals they have the Korean Nexon or
Yeah, I think that sounds right. Yeah, it's
or
it's just, I think to a certain extent, once you get to a certain size, maybe there's complacency or just bloat and bureaucracy or whatever it is. The devs get too comfortable. I don't know. But there is something happening in the industry where the big players are just nowhere near as agile or productive as the smaller teams. I mean, we even see examples of the same studios with a couple of exceptions. Like I think Obsidian is a good exception where they've grown in size and they are pumping out more games than ever at a pretty good pace, and they're picking up in quality. Like it's pretty impressive compared to where they were like 10 years ago, for example. But for a lot of companies like BGS like quadruples in size over the course of 12 years or so, and their output plummets, and the reception of their work plummets. And with Bungie, like they've also exploded. But with Bungie, it's also weird because people don't realize this. It looks like in the last like 2.5-3 years, they went from roughly 1,600 employees to currently having around 800 something. Like Bungie has been
1,600. It's insane.
Yeah, they've been decimated.
Or like where is Seattle, right?
Yeah, Washington State. Yeah.
Yeah, like expensive, man.
Yeah, but I mean that's the thing is when I went to the Bungie offices, beautiful office building. Don't get me wrong. Very thankful you had the chance to go and meet so many fascinating people who have a long history in the industry. But it blew me away at just how crazy expensive that studio must be. Like it was wild. The ceilings are 40 feet tall. All of like they have 15 different conference rooms with these beautiful tables and furniture that's all crazy. Everybody's using those Herman Miller chairs that are like each $2,000 or whatever. Like beautiful office space. And you're like, oh, that's where all the Destiny money went. But you compare it to something like Expedition 33, where it's like 30 people that are sitting on like, wooden crates that they got and are using as a chair because they just are really passionate about what they're doing and they're just hungry. They're hungry for success. They just want it.
Yeah.
And it's just night and day.
Of course, like the DICE people left. Like that's of course what we've seen with BioWare and with a lot of these teams too. It's still the name, but all the people that made the games that we love are gone or are now at an embark. Or with Expedition 33, those were some ex-Ubisoft developers. Like so you do see like the talent is obviously at the end of the day the most important, and I totally think having way too many cooks in the kitchen is not helping all these teams either. But it's fascinating and it's cool to see Arc Raiders doing well, man. That's awesome.
It's good, and I think it whenever you have people are like, oh, so you like Arc Raiders, are you rooting for Marathon to fail? No, I'm rooting for Marathon to get the time it needs to be good. It's why people have come in and been like, at what price point would you think Marathon could sell and work? Like my point is, I don't think even free to play in its current form, it can find success. There's not enough there. I think it needs time. Like even if it was free, it doesn't do well enough, I think, to justify all of this, money that's been poured into it so far. But when you have like an Arc Raiders that shows where it could be and what could happen if they were given time and money and resources to do it, I think that is good for a game like Marathon, hypothetically, because they could take that to the PlayStation bosses and be like, see, this is what we're being compared to. They've had the time to add in all these features. That's what gamers expect. Already people are memeing on us and dunking on us for not having prox chat, for not having a crafting system, for only having 6 characters, only 3 maps. Like people are already giving us crap for this, and we just need more time, and they can at least point to that. But Marathon, I think, is just this shows once again that Marathon is in trouble. And it's funny because Paul Tassi wrote an entire article on Forbes that I thought was just very clear and to the point. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. But it was just simply titled Arc Raiders makes Marathon look bad. And I think that's true. Yes, Arc Raiders makes Marathon look bad. And this is a guy that loves Bungie stuff, is obsessed with Destiny, plays a ton of it, talks about it all the time. And even then, like here, Arc's Embark Studio has the same amount of devs in the entire studio as are working on Marathon at Bungie, around 300. But a portion of those are managing the finals, the studio's other multiplayer game that may not be the talk of the town these days, but boasts a consistent player count, which many may not realize. And I mean, just even if you look, like Jor said, at the Twitch numbers, at the play counts, the reception is overwhelmingly clear that if these two games launched at the same price point on the same day, we all know which one is winning. It's not Marathon, and that should worry them.
100%. We will see. What game do you think launches first, Marathon or GTA 6?
I personally, at this point, my tinfoil hat's going on. I think Sony is fed up with Bungie, and they're going to make them put it out. And
oh my god.
I would be actually kind of surprised if they get granted a delay, because from my perspective, the game is so transparently and clearly not ready that even a dummy like me was able to see that within just a few hours of looking at the game. I am certain the Bungie guys communicated that to PlayStation executives, and they chose to move forward with the reveal, with the play tests, with the alphas, and announcing a release date before or even after all of that. So I think Sony is aware of where it's at, and for whatever reason, they don't care. So I think it still releases September 23rd.
Yeah.
Do you think they delay it? Do you think it gets booped?
I can really see it go both ways. I would be shocked, but I was shocked when they... I mean, Concord is kind of different. That was like kind of DOA anyways. I do think they can make Marathon work, but having 300 people work on it for another year, that's like 50 million easily.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at one... But then, man, Bungie is gonna... Look, they should make Destiny 3. I think that's pretty clear that they should have done that a while back, because that's what people want. Like, they're now making something that people don't really want.
That's the problem, though, is that if they start that now...
Oh, yeah, no. They're not going to see it.
7 years or whatever. Like, they don't really have a choice. Like, yeah. Marathon has to pop off, but it needs more time. And Sony is not willing, seemingly, to give them that time. And so they're just kind of caught between a rock and a hard place, where they're going to put the game out and have to pray they get given time over a year or two to polish it up. Because I agree, I think Marathon can eventually be really, really good and worth playing. I just think it's not close to that right now. And but whether Sony, like, does Sony really give them... Like, they launch it, player counts are abysmal. They're at 1,000 viewers on Twitch. There's 500 people online globally. Like, do they really give them 2 years of development time? I can't imagine.
Probably not. No.
Because with these live service games also, it's the problem Concord ran into as well. If you don't have enough concurrent players, the quality of the gameplay experience plummets, which drives player counts even lower. And so it just kind of spirals out of control at that point. If you only have 500 people worldwide, your matchmaking times are going to be horrible. It's going to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes for a match. Even when I was playing Concord at launch, on launch day, we were having matches that took 10 minutes to start. Like, that doesn't work over months or years. And pretty soon the game will just be abandoned, and you can try to overhaul it, but there's not many games that come back from 0 players or 100 players back to 10,000. Very, very few, if any. I can't think of any, but maybe it's happened.
Yeah, I think they're going to do a big cost analysis, or they are maybe already doing it, and are like, okay, we have 2 paths. We can, like, cut and run, release it, hopefully get some money from selling the game for $40, see how it goes. Like, it's still wild to me that they say all the other content is great, but they are not letting anyone play that yet.
Or it's not been made yet. Like with the ranked mode. Like, we have ideas for how it's going to work. I'm like, what do you mean? You're out of time.
No, it's crazy. But it will be fascinating. But like we've been talking about, like the amount of games that are coming out, people have no room or don't care about a maybe game, especially if you have something like Arc Raiders as well, that is basically the same experience. I think Bungie is really banking, and that's why I think they put the release date out, is that they want to build this alongside the community, and people will understand that it's a work in progress. But look at the Taken King. We launched that a year later, and that was when Destiny was really, really good. But they forget that Destiny 1, like, sure, it was pretty bare bones, but it was a new type of game. It was exciting, and it still had quite a lot of content and things to do. And yeah, from what I've seen so far, Marathon seems to lack a lot of that. So we will see, but I totally feel like 500, obviously not, but if it's even at like 10k concurrent after a week on all platforms, and you have 300 people working on content for it, that's not gonna move the needle at all. So
yeah,
no, it will be fascinating, but I think in a year from now we will not be talking about Marathon, probably.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair.
Unless they go for the delay route.
Yeah, which I mean, the consensus at this point, and it's rare to have a consensus with a live service game that's on the way. Like, usually there's some debate, but with this, the consensus among everybody who's played a good amount of the alpha, myself included, is it needs way more time. Like, the bones are there. I think the gunplay is really solid. I like kind of the setting and some of the stuff that they're starting to set up, but it feels like something you play 2 years before launch. It does not feel like something that is 5 months out from launch and is going to launch at a premium price point. It just doesn't make sense. And so, you know, it's going to be fascinating to watch. I agree. But I think, you know, they should be sweating over at Sony HQ.
I think Horizon Online will do better than Marathon.
I think my videos will do better. Yeah.
God damn it.
Oh man, it's gonna be funny. No, I hope, like, we joke about it. I hope that Marathon figures its stuff out. I hope they get given the time to make it good. Of course, we hope that
for all the games. Like we said before, like if Sony has a live service game that keeps giving them money, like they will be investing that hopefully also in more single player games, or they will not be reliant on these big games. So if a Ghost of Yotei actually needs a delay because the quality would be better, they are way more inclined to do that because they got season whatever for Marathon coming out.
Yeah.
Right now, if they delay Yotei, they have nothing.
Yeah. No, I agree. It would be good for them to have a really successful game that's just their cash cow. But it seems like they just don't know how to do it. Like, they've had a sort of accidental success with Helldivers, which is good. I think, you know, a lot of people have kind of fallen off that, but they might go back if they do a really good content drop or something. But I think that is pretty clearly, it was sort of an accidental success that now they're trying to portray as a master plan from them. Like, they didn't market that at all. And they're trying with Marathon. They're pushing this pretty hard. And
dude,
then
that cinematic trailer costs more than all the marketing for Helldivers too.
Yeah,
like the one from the Netflix guy from the Love, Sex and Robots, I think it was, right?
Yeah, I think he also did Into the Spider-Verse stuff too. Yeah, it's like they've spent already a lot of money on the presentation and the marketing, and even just the trip I went on. I don't know like how much it costs to put an event like that on, but I imagine to like throw a huge event for hundreds of people is not cheap either. And so I think, like, without a doubt, like, they've poured a lot of money into this, and that's them trying, and it's not going this well. Arc Raiders, comparatively, like, I got access to the alpha, but like, they didn't pay me, they didn't give me any cash or do a sponsored video. They just said, here, try it. And that's, I'm assuming, perhaps naively so, but I'm assuming a lot of these guys that are still playing the alpha days and days after it initially kicked off, they are just playing it because they enjoy it. And that goes a long way. It really does. And the audience is there for it. That's the other thing. The audience started falling off of Marathon while watching the matches on it. And if that happens, you're toast. Because even if the streamer likes it, they can't do that for years and years. It just doesn't work. Like,
no, if nobody watches, yeah.
So anyway, let's see some of these super chats real quick before we wrap it up. Let's see. I read that one. Let's see. Mike Dememe, thank you for the 5. I can see GTA launch with a version that's only GTA 6 online. That is $70. Online version could be a premium game itself. Ooh. So you think maybe they launch the base story version and then the online mode is like its own separate purchase. Like its own separate game almost.
They're not. I mean, they might spin it off later. I think they did it for GTA Online, right? I think they will do it later, but they want all your money. So if they can sell a bundle, even though you never boot up online, they're gonna do it because they know you will buy the game if that's the entry point. So,
well, I think for him, the big question is, do they price it as 2 different SKUs so that they can get 70 for the base game that's single player? And then even if GTA 6 is like the launcher, so like imagine on Steam, you hit play on GTA 6, it takes you into like in Red Dead where it goes story or online. And if you go to the online, it prompts you to pay another $50 or $60 to unlock online. And so they just got 70 or 80 from you, and then they ask you for another 60.
they can
70.
way better just immediately ask 120 to even have GTA on your console to have the privilege to play the game. Like that's way easier than to ask money for a second time, because there will be people that will only play the single player. But I do think if they in the end want you playing the online game, so to make that as easy as possible, it's what they want. I think a lot of people, if they have the choice, would only buy the single player version, but because they have the online anyways, and yeah, they paid way more for that full package, but they were like willing to do that because they wanted to play the single player. And now they might dabble in the online mode and be like, whoa, this is actually kind of cool. All your friends have it as well. So again, I do think at one point when they are seeing the sales maybe slow down, they're like, okay, let's get just people in who only want to play the online mode, because that's, again, where we want people to be with all the microtransactions that are there. But I think they will launch the full package for sure and have that be $100. I think instead of like piecemealing it.
I think it's easier, yeah. And like you said, like there's going to be some people that pay the 100, 120, whatever, that don't even touch the online. So why not get that out of them up front? And plus, when you do it all as one package and people can just boot into the online mode, like some of you guys are alluding to, like fried computer, they want people to get into multiplayer. Exactly. Like if it's just in the package you already own, you can boot in, and then maybe you get tempted to buy one of those shark cards. Ooh, I want that new car. I'll just buy a shark card real quick for $5. Boom. They just got a little more.
Yeah, it's like a getaway drug. They want you to at least try it, and you will try it if you just got it in the package, and we're not planning to play it. You
Especially
will,
when everybody know is playing it and trying it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Nate, thank you for the 5. I'm playing Indiana Jones on PS5 and I'm 20 hours in and I'm enjoying myself, but I don't know, something just feels off. I can't explain it. It just seems hollow and empty. Interesting. It does have a unique flair. And I think a lot of it is I think part of it is the presentation with the first party swap, or first person swapping to third person for cutscenes and stuff, where it makes it feel kind of sometimes like you're playing 2 different games at the same time. At least to me, like it feels a little different. I don't know if I'd use the word hollow, but I think I know what you mean. Orion's, thank you for the 10. Hey, Luke and Jor. Okay, Jor, ready with me? Tinfoil hat.
Okay.
On. Okay, you ready for this? Hey, Luke and Jor, is it possible for Rockstar to fool us with the new release date next year, just to fool everyone and then shadow drop it in October? Or are there legal implications with release date bluffs? I'm with you with the tinfoil hat. I'm gonna take the tinfoil hat off for a moment. Okay. I think, and I've said this before, I think the odds of a shadow drop for a game on the scale of GTA is very, very low. Like I think if there's any rumblings at all that GTA 6 is gonna launch, it leaks like crazy.
Yeah.
Like Oblivion was a big deal, and that leaked like crazy. GTA is Oblivion times 100. Like, it would leak. So I think that's a problem for them.
Like
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
No,
continue.
go ahead.
Like I do think what Elder Scrolls did last week, we will see more of that. But like we said as well last week, it only makes sense for a handful of games. They don't need to have a marketing cycle for a remaster of an Elder Scrolls game. Like, you know what you're gonna get. You see the trailer, wow, it looks amazing. You see people playing it. It is on Game Pass. Like, you don't need a 4 month or like a long hype cycle for that. Other games do need that, like Expedition 33. If that shadow dropped, that would not be a smart idea. But I do think we will see more games look at that model and be like, okay, does this project that we first had this more traditional marketing cycle planned for, maybe we should, like we talked about the Black Flag remaster, maybe they are now scrapping everything and being like, yo, in November they just post a tweet and then a day later everyone can play the Black Flag remaster. I think that would actually benefit them a lot. So we will totally see more of it, but for a game like GTA, it really makes no sense because you also want to reach a mainstream audience. There will be so many billboards everywhere you walk for this game, and that will leak, and it will not be worth it. It will not be worth it.
Yeah. So it's a fun idea. It's kind of fun to explore the idea, but I think the most likely, especially because like some people have alluded to with like the stock market hates uncertainty, the potential legal ramifications is that GTA as a product represents a huge portion of Take-Two Interactive's current valuation. And if you tell investors that is coming next fiscal year versus this fiscal year, that affects the company's valuation. As you've seen, like just today, the stock price plummeted 7%. It's recovered a little bit. But to then be like, got you, haha, it's actually coming out this year, like we said, originally, that could very much upset some investors and could be grounds for like lawsuits of market manipulation and different things like that. So, I personally don't think that it would happen or could happen. It just wouldn't be worth the risk. And I think the potential payoff also wouldn't be that crazy high compared to just putting it out in May.
And then every time Rockstar says something, everyone will be like, I don't believe you, you're still gonna launch it. And then people will get angry when they did not promise anything. And they said what they were going to do, they actually did that.
To be fair, they're already doing that. Like right now, this very comment is that with people being like, no, so you're saying.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Yeah, it already happened. But
And
I agree.
by the way, think regarding the GTA 6, like I would not be surprised if they don't launch a trailer until April next year.
Yeah, I'm of the same mind. Like they don't have to.
No.
It's so fascinating. They announced the release date with some blank text. Not even a screenshot, not even concept art, just text. Like that's some big dick energy unlike anything I've seen in a while.
And it's the most liked tweet of probably of any game this year.
Yeah, since the AC ratio of Elon and Grums. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's see. Let me finish catching up on these real quick, guys. Thank you so much. Sumaya, thank you for that one. I'm so excited for Horizon Online. Totally.
High five. We'll be hunting together.
Yeah, dude, I cannot wait for those streams. We'll do the podcast and we're going to be hunting together.
Oh my God.
I'll play as that like marshmallow character and then you can play as someone else. It's going to be great.
Baloy, it's going to be.
Baloy. Dude, they need to put you in the game. Or what if there's a character creator and then we make each other? That would be fun. We'll do it.
Oh my God. They're not going to do a character creator. You can't gamble on those characters, man.
That's true. Oh, they do like a little gotcha thing. Yeah, that's true.
No, they're not going to.
That'd be so
Right,
funny.
right.
That'd be so funny.
No, they're not. They're not.
Oh, I got Aloy 5-star. It's a legendary poll. Wow. Rhea Saturn became a member. Thank you so much for that. And Gabe Kane, thank you for the 5. GTA 6 is going to take up 5 discs worth of storage at this point. Lamau. Yeah, assuming they have data on the discs.
A disc version, yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, they're not going to bother.
Yeah, I'm guessing GTA 6 might not even have physical editions at launch. Just being transparent, I would
Yeah,
actually be
or
surprised.
it is a code and then you put it in and it has the countdown as if you would have like pre-ordered it at
Yeah.
the shop.
Yeah, it just gives you a plastic case that you paid an extra $10 for. I think the odds are pretty high with that, because we saw what happened with AC Shadows, where those physical copies leaked. They're not going to take that risk with GTA 6, man. Like,
Oh no! I mean, people are gonna like raid these freaking warehouses, man.
dude, we had problems when I worked at Best Buy with Spider-Man and Sekiro copies leaking. Like it's a whole thing. And then Frayne, thank you for that super chat as well. How stupid do all other studios look right now? Well, they would look really stupid if GTA 6 launches at like $50 or $60. That would be just so freaking funny if they're just like, yeah, this great biggest game ever. Yeah, it's cheaper than all of your crap. Like that would be funny. I don't think they do that, but it's possible. Still. Well, do you have any closing thoughts, Mr. Jor, before we adjourn?
Well, we of course, are live on the Luke Stevens live channel, but we also are dropping on all your favorite podcast services, and those of course have reviews where you can like put down stars, and we're at 4.9 stars still on the Spotify, 403 right now. So if you got Spotify, go there and give us those stars. That would really, really help us out, of course. So thanks for that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. We enjoy doing this show. You guys are amazing. Next week, I'm taking the family on a little mini vacation.
Ooh.
Yep. So we'll take a week off. I'm sure nothing exciting will happen next week. I can't even imagine. I feel like most of the news got out of the way this week, but probably said the same thing last week too. But yeah, so we'll take next week off, but we'll be back in the Rev Up 2 Summer Games Fest, rocking and rolling, because there's going to be a lot of stuff, dude. There's going to be a lot.
Oh my God.
Yeah, buckle up, buckaroo. Buckle up, buckaroo. Until next time, my friends. Thank you for watching. Thank you for the amazing support. Thank you for the Spotify and Apple Podcast reviews. We'll see you next time. Hugs and kisses. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.